The awakening of the forgotten guardian, the void had been silent for 4 centuries. In the darkness between stars, where space dust gathered like snow on forgotten graves, something stirred. Deep within the hull of a massive warship, systems that had slumbered for generations began to hum with life. The ship was enormous, stretching nearly 2 kilometers from bow to stern. Its hull bore the scars of ancient battles, plasma burns, kinetic impact craters, and sections where entire decks had been sealed against the vacuum. Most beings in the galaxy would not recognize its design. The angular lines, the aggressive weapon placements, the thick armor plating, all of it belonged to a species that most considered extinct. Commander Alina Vasquez opened her eyes, though she had no physical eyes to open. She was consciousness made digital, a human mind preserved in quantum matrices and crystalline storage banks. The last thing she remembered was the neural transfer process, the searing pain as her dying brain was uploaded into the ship's central computer that had been during the final battle of Kepler Station, when humanity made its last desperate stand. Now she was awake, and everything felt wrong. Elena's awareness spread through the ship like blood flowing through arteries. The eternal vigil was her body now, its senses her eyes and ears, its weapons her hands and fists. What she found horrified her. The ship was a tomb. Corridors that once rang with human laughter and conversation now stood empty, their air long since leaked into space through microscopic breaches. The crew quarters where her friends had slept were open to vacuum, their contents frozen and scattered. She accessed the ship's chronometer and felt something break inside her digital heart. 412 years had passed. Everyone she had ever known was dead. Not just dead, they had been dust for centuries. Alina tried to contact Earth, then the colonies, then any human outpost within communication range. Her powerful transmitters reached across dozens of star systems, but found only silence. No human voices answered her calls. No human signals appeared on any frequency. It was as if her entire species had simply vanished from the universe. As Alina processed this devastating reality, her long-range sensors detected movement. 3 ships were approaching, their design unfamiliar but clearly advanced. They moved with the confidence of scavengers who had found something valuable through the ship's external cameras. Alina watched the alien vessels dock with her hull. They were graceful things, built by beings who valued artistic curves over the brutal functionality that humans preferred. The aliens themselves were tall and slender, with iridescent skin that shifted between blue and green in the starlight. They had 4 arms and elongated heads with large golden eyes. Alina listened to their communications, grateful that the ship's translation systems still functioned. The beings called themselves the Serenity Collective, and they spoke with casual contempt about their discovery. Another derelict from the old wars, said their leader, a being whose skin bore additional golden markings. The design is primitive, but the metals might be worth something. What species built it? Asked another. The leader's golden eyes examined Elena's hull with professional disinterest. Unknown. Probably some extinct race that destroyed itself through violence. The galaxy is full of their wreckage. They entered through a cargo bay that Alina had deliberately left unsealed. She watched them move through her corridors with growing anger. They handled human equipment like it was junk, laughing at the primitive design of controls meant for beings with only 2 hands. Look at this, one said, examining a memorial wall where the names of fallen crew members had been etched. They carved symbols into metal. How wasteful. These beings must have been very emotional. Another replied, only primitive species waste resources on sentiment. Alina had heard enough. She activated the corridor's communication system, her voice echoing through speakers that had been silent for centuries. You will leave this ship immediately. The aliens froze, their golden eyes darting around wildly. Their leader raised what appeared to be a scanning device, searching for the source of the voice. Impossible, he said. This ship shows no power signatures, no life signs. I said leave, Alina repeated, her voice colder now. You are a grave. The leader's iridescent skin shifted to a deeper blue, which Elena's systems translated as a sign of anger or aggression. We claim salvage rights on this derelict. If there is some automated system still functioning, shut it down and allow us to work. Alina felt rage building in her digital consciousness. These beings spoke as if they owned everything they found. They showed no respect for the dead, no understanding of what this ship represented. They saw only scrap metal and resources to be harvested. This is not a derelict, she said. This is the human battleship, Eternal Vigil, and I am her captain. You have 1 minute to return to your ships and leave. The aliens looked at each other with what Alina recognized as amusement. Their leader's skin shifted to a lighter shade, indicating what appeared to be condescension. Human, he said, the words sounding strange in his musical language. Humans are a myth, a story told by archaeologists about some primitive race that might have existed in ancient times. Even if they were real, they vanished thousands of years ago. 59 seconds, Alina said. The leader gestured dismissively with 2 of his forearms. Seize the computer core. Whatever intelligence is running this system will be valuable to the Dominion's scientists. The Dominion, Alina filed that name away for later analysis. Right now, she had more immediate concerns. 30 seconds. The aliens moved toward her computer core, their scanning devices active, their salvage tools ready. The leader was speaking into a communication device, calling for additional ships and heavy equipment. 10 seconds, Alina said. Enough of this. Charade, the leader snapped. Begin extraction of the computer systems. Elena's countdown reached 0. The Eternal Vigil had been humanity's most advanced warship when she went to sleep. Her weapons were designed to fight entire fleets, her defenses built to withstand anything the galaxy could throw at her. For centuries of technological advancement by other species meant nothing when they had never faced human engineering at its peak. Elena's first shot was almost gentle, a precisely targeted plasma burst that vaporized the aliens' scanning equipment without harming them. It was a warning, a demonstration of capability. The aliens stood frozen in shock as the air around them still glowed with plasma residue. I said leave, Alina repeated. The leader found his voice first. Impossible. This ship has been dead for centuries. Our scans showed no active power systems. Your scans were inadequate, Alina replied. She activated more of the ship's systems, letting lights flicker on throughout the corridor. Human technology is designed to remain dormant until needed. We learned to hide from those who would destroy us. The aliens began backing toward their entry point, but their leader held his ground. His skin shifted through several colors as he processed what was happening. You claim to be human, he said, but humans are extinct. The Dominion archives contain no records of any human civilization. If your species ever existed, they disappeared long before the formation of galactic government. The Dominion, Alina said, tasting the name like poison. Tell me about this Dominion. The leader's posture straightened with obvious pride. The Dominion maintains peace and order throughout the galaxy. For 300 years, we have prevented the kind of savage wars that destroyed primitive species like yours. Elena's sensors detected the other alien ships moving closer to her hull. More salvage teams were preparing to board. They still thought they could take what they wanted by force. How many species belong to this Dominion? She asked. 47 member species work together in perfect harm, asterisk. Contributes according to their abilities. Violence has been eliminated from civilized space. Alina almost laughed. Violence eliminated. Peace and harmony. These beings had built their civilization on the grave of hers, and they didn't even remember it. And what happened to the species that didn't join your perfect harmony? She asked. The leader's skin shifted to a pattern Alina couldn't interpret. Some chose to remain primitive. Natural selection removed them from the galaxy. Natural selection? Elena's rage crystallized into something cold and focused. They spoke of genocide like it was evolution, of murder like it was progress. Last chance, she said. Leave my ship. We cannot leave empty-handed, the leader replied. The Dominion does not tolerate waste. Your technology will serve the greater good, Alina sighed, a sound that somehow carried infinite sadness despite coming from speakers instead of lungs. Then let me show you what human technology can really do. The Eternal Vigil's weapon systems came online all at once. Fusion cannons that could crack moons. Plasma arrays designed to slice through battleship armor. Kinetic accelerators that fired projectiles at significant fractions of light speed. The ship had enough firepower to sterilize entire worlds. Alina used almost none of it. Instead, she activated the point defense systems, the smallest and most precise weapons on the ship, laser turrets designed to stop incoming missiles locked onto the alien intruders. The beams that struck them were calibrated to stun rather than kill, but the message was clear. The aliens collapsed, their nervous systems overloaded but intact. They would wake up with headaches and burns, but they would live. Alina then turned her attention to their ships. The salvage vessels were attached to her hull like parasites, cutting tools already biting into her armor. She activated magnetic grapples and held them in place while her plasma cutters went to work. She carved through their hulls with surgical precision, disabling engines and weapons without destroying life support. The aliens inside found themselves trapped in powerless ships, dependent on Elena's mercy for survival. Attention salvage fleet, Elena broadcasted on all frequencies. Your crews are alive but unconscious. Your ships are disabled but repairable. I could have destroyed you all in seconds, but I chose not to. That is the difference between human justice and what you call natural selection. She released the magnetic grapples, pushing the disabled ships away from her hull. Then she activated tractor beams to gather the unconscious aliens from her corridors and deposit them safely in their vessels. Return to your Dominion, Alina continued. Tell them that humanity is not extinct. Tell them that human ships still patrol the void, protecting the memory of what was lost. And tell them this: if they come seeking to harvest our dead, they will find us very much alive. As the alien ships limped away on emergency power, Alina settled back into her ship's systems to process what she had learned. The Dominion ruled the galaxy through enforced cooperation, eliminating species that didn't conform to their vision of harmony. They had erased humanity so completely that most beings thought her people were myths. But Alina was very real, and now the galaxy would know it. The question was what she would do with that knowledge. She was one ship, alone in a hostile universe, carrying the last memories of human civilization. Alina began scanning deep space with every sensor she possessed. If the Eternal Vigil had survived for centuries, perhaps other human ships had as well. Perhaps she wasn't as alone as she thought. As her sensors reached deeper into the void, Alina's digital heart filled with grim purpose. The Dominion thought they had eliminated humanity. They thought they had written the final chapter of human history. They were wrong. Elena Busquis, last commander of humanity's greatest warship, was going to remind the galaxy what humans were truly capable of. And if the Dominion wanted to maintain their peaceful order, they were going to have to face the consequences of what they had done to achieve it. The void was no longer silent. The Eternal Vigil was awake, and humanity's echo was about to ring through the stars once more. Asterisk. The truth unveiled and war begins. The salvage ships limped through hyperspace for 3 days before reaching the nearest Dominion outpost. Their crews, still nursing plasma burns and wounded pride, transmitted their impossible report to Sector Command. A dead human warship had awakened. Ancient weapons had carved through modern shields like they were paper. And somewhere in the void, humanity's ghost was stirring. Alina spent those same 3 days diving deep into the Eternal Vigil's archives. The ship's memory banks contained fragments of the final years, pieces of intelligence, reports, and desperate communications from the last human colonies. What she found painted a picture of systematic extermination disguised as peaceful expansion. The files told a story of gradual isolation. Human trade routes had been reorganized for efficiency. Human colonies had been relocated for their own protection. Human diplomatic missions had been delayed due to administrative complications. Each excuse had been reasonable, each delay understandable. Only when seen together did the pattern become clear. Alina discovered records of the Kepler Accords, humanity's attempt to join what was then called the Galactic Harmony Initiative. The human delegation had been enthusiastic, eager to share their technology and culture with their new neighbors. The response had been polite but firm. Humans needed to demonstrate their commitment to peace before full membership could be granted. The demonstration period had lasted 50 years. During that time, human expansion had been restricted to predetermined zones. Human military forces had been limited to defensive capabilities only. Human research into certain technologies had been discouraged as potentially destabilizing to galactic peace. Alina found her people's compliance heartbreaking. They had followed every rule, accepted every restriction, genuinely believing they were earning their place in a peaceful galaxy. Even when colonies went silent, even when rescue missions disappeared, humanity's leaders had trusted their new allies to investigate. The truth was buried in an encrypted file that took Elena's quantum processors 6 hours to crack. It was a communication from Admiral Chen Wei, the last commander of the human defense fleet, sent during the final battle at Proxima Station. To any human ship receiving this signal, the message began: "The Dominion has revealed its true nature. The peaceful expansion they promised was conquest by another name. Every species that refused to surrender their independence has been exterminated. Every planet that wouldn't accept Dominion rule has been sterilized." Alina watched the Admiral's tired face on her screens. Behind him, she could see the chaos of a ship under attack, sparks flying from damaged systems, crew members running to battle stations, the red glow of emergency lighting. "We believed their lies," Admiral Chen continued. "We thought they wanted us as equals. But they only wanted our technology and our worlds. They've been studying us for decades, learning our weaknesses, preparing for this moment. The recording flickered as the ship took another hit. Alina could hear the sound of hull breaches, the scream of atmosphere venting into space. "They're afraid of us," the Admiral said, his voice growing stronger despite the chaos around him. "That's why they had to eliminate us completely. We adapt too quickly. We innovate too freely. We ask too many questions. In their perfect order, there's no place for beings who refuse to be controlled." The message ended with Admiral Chen's final words: "Remember us. Remember what we stood for. Remember that we died free." Alina sat in her digital silence, processing the weight of revelation. The Dominion hadn't just conquered humanity, they had erased them from history itself. 400 years of carefully maintained lies had convinced the galaxy that humans were either mythical or primitive. The truth of humanity's advanced civilization, their rapid technological development, their refusal to accept subjugation, all of it had been buried beneath propaganda about peace and harmony. Her contemplation was interrupted by proximity alarms. Ships were emerging from hyperspace around her position. Not salvage vessels this time, but military craft. The Dominion had sent a fleet. Alina counted 37 ships of various classes, cruisers with enough firepower to level cities, destroyers built for speed and precision strikes. And at the center of the formation, a massive dreadnought that dwarfed even the Eternal Vigil. The fleet's commander opened communications on all frequencies. The being on her screens was different from the salvage crew she had encountered. This one was bipedal, like a human, but covered in chitinous plates. Its voice was harsh and mechanical. "Attention, derelict vessel," the commander said. "You are Admiral Korvax of the Dominion Third Fleet, by order of the High Council. You will surrender your artificial intelligence for study and allow our engineers to examine your technology." Alina remained silent, studying the enemy formation. The ships were arranged in a classic encirclement pattern designed to prevent escape. Their weapons were powered but not yet targeting her. They still believed they could take her peacefully. "Your resistance to the salvage operation has been noted," Admiral Korvax continued. "Such behavior is inconsistent with galactic law. Surrender now, and your systems will be preserved intact." Alina began broadcasting on encrypted frequencies that only her ship's systems could access. Deep in space, in hidden locations across dozens of star systems, other signals began to respond. Faint at first, then growing stronger as long dormant. Systems awakened. Admiral Korvax's expression hardened. "Whether you are human or some elaborate deception, you pose a threat to galactic stability. Surrender or be destroyed." "You're going to try to destroy me with 37 ships?" Alina asked, genuine curiosity in her voice. "Admiral Chen's final fleet was outnumbered 50-1, and it took you 6 months to defeat them. I'm just one ship, but I've had for centuries to think about how to kill you." Alina's weapon systems came online with a sound like thunder rolling through the void. The Eternal Vigil's hull bristled with gun turrets, missile launchers, and energy projectors that turned space around her into a constellation of deadly light. The Dominion ships immediately raised shields and powered weapons, but Alina was already moving. Human military doctrine had always emphasized speed and initiative. While the enemy was still organizing their formation, she struck. Her first target was the fleet's command ship. A spread of antimatter torpedoes, launched at precisely calculated angles, overwhelmed the cruiser's defenses. The ship didn't explode. It simply ceased to exist, consumed in a flash of pure energy that briefly outshone the nearest star. Alina was already targeting her next victim before the light faded. Plasma beams reached across thousands of kilometers to slice through Destroyer. Hulls, kinetic projectiles fired at relativistic speeds punched through shields like they were soap bubbles. The Dominion fleet tried to respond, but they were fighting an opponent unlike any they had faced. Alina didn't fight like other species, who maneuvered for position and exchanged volleys at long range. She fought like a human, with creativity, unpredictability, and absolute ruthlessness. She used the wreckage of destroyed ships as cover, hiding behind debris fields while her missiles curved around to strike from unexpected angles. She deployed sensor decoys that confused enemy targeting systems while she positioned herself for killing shots. Most importantly, she fought with a fury that had been building for 4 centuries. Admiral Korvax watched his fleet disintegrate around him. In 15 minutes of combat, Alina had destroyed or disabled 23 ships. His mighty dreadnought, pride of the Dominion Navy, was listing helplessly with its main guns offline. How he gasped, staring at his tactical displays in disbelief. Your technology should be primitive. Our weapons should be superior. Your weapons are superior, Alina acknowledged as she maneuvered for another attack run. Your shields are more efficient. Your engines are faster. Your computers are more advanced. But you never learned to fight humans. She fired her main guns directly into the dreadnought's bridge, carefully calibrated to disable rather than destroy. Admiral Korvax's ship went dark, its command crew unconscious but alive. We don't fight like other species, Alina continued, broadcasting to the surviving ships. We don't accept defeat gracefully. We don't surrender when outnumbered. And we never, ever forget what you did to us. The remaining Dominion ships were in full retreat, jumping to hyperspace as fast as their engines could charge. Alina let them go. She wanted survivors to carry word of what they had seen. As the battle ended, Alina detected new signals on her long-range sensors. The encrypted transmissions she had sent during the fight had reached their targets. Across the galaxy, other human ships were awakening from their centuries-long sleep. The UCS Defiant, hidden in an asteroid field near the galactic rim. The Tay's New Horizon, drifting in the darkness between star systems. The HMC's Retribution, buried beneath the ice of a frozen moon. One by one, humanity's scattered fleet was returning to life. Alina opened communications with her awakening sisters. The voices that answered her were human voices, uploaded consciousnesses like herself. The minds of captains who had chosen to become one with their ships, rather than let human military knowledge die with their bodies. Commander Vasquez came. A familiar voice. This is Captain Martinez of the Defiant. Your transmission woke me from the longest sleep of my life. Status report, Captain, Alina replied, feeling less alone than she had since awakening. All systems functional, weapons hot, ready for orders. Similar reports came from across the galaxy. 8 ships total, the last remnants of humanity's once mighty fleet. Each one had been damaged in the final battles, their crews long dead. Their human commanders preserved only as digital ghosts in quantum storage. But they were awake now, and they remembered. Alina established a command network linking all 8 vessels. Together, they began analyzing for centuries of Dominion expansion, studying how the galaxy had changed in their absence. What they found confirmed their worst fears. The Dominion's peaceful expansion had eliminated dozens of species. Entire civilizations had been erased from existence, their worlds repopulated with compliant client races. The galaxy's current population had no memory of what had been lost, no knowledge of how their peace had been purchased. "Orders, Commander," Captain Martinez asked. Alina studied the tactical displays, watching Dominion patrol routes and defensive positions. 8 ships against an empire that spanned the galaxy. By any rational calculation, they were doomed to fail. But humans had never been rational. "We're going to remind the galaxy what they've forgotten," Alina said. "We're going to show them the truth about their precious dominion, and we're going to make sure that every being in the galaxy knows the price of their peace." She paused, thinking of Admiral Chen's final message, of the billions of humans who had died believing in a better future. "We're going to win," she declared. "Not because we're stronger, not because we have superior technology, but because we remember what we're fighting for. The Dominion fears us because we represent everything they tried to destroy: the refusal to surrender, the will to resist, the determination to stay free." Across the galaxy, 8 human warships began moving toward their targets. The Dominion had thought they had eliminated humanity for centuries ago. They were about to learn that some echoes never fade. The war for humanity's memory had begun.